Hello, welcome back. I'm Lori Williams, and today I want to talk about how to deal with your own triggering thoughts. So it's one thing, for other people to trigger us. There are teachers. Every person that we meet is going to be our teacher in some way, shape, or form. Actually, they're either a teacher or our mirror. So they're either showing us a part of ourselves that we need to heal or release, let go of, or they are teaching us what we are putting out that maybe we need to, take a second look at and be like, okay, is that really in alignment with who I am? So dealing with people outside of yourself triggering you is one thing, but it's completely different when what's triggering you are your own thoughts. So typically, what happens when anytime we have a thought, and honestly this is just because of our own programming, unfortunately, but a lot of the spiritual healing aspect of things and on your spiritual journey is to let go of the things that we have been taught, the things that we have been brainwashed to believe, the things that we have insisted within ourselves is true for us. Like even our own beliefs of self can definitely need healing as well. In most cases they do. So, triggering your own triggering thoughts are simply, again, a guide. They are, I call it your roadmap, our own internal guidance. Our bodies help us to understand what it is that we need to heal. So, just as, a sore arm may tell you that, oh, I've broken a bone, a repetitive thought is your mind's way of saying, hey, you know what, this is coming up for you, because you haven't been able to let it go. So until you let it go, I can't let it go. This obviously mentally, and the mental body goes very closely with the emotional body too, because typically it's, even though we're overthinking it, we're continuing to think about it, like the triggering thought, it's actually an emotion based, but the emotions, form our thoughts too, right? So ultimately, when I personally have triggering thoughts, what I like to do is to not allow them to have power over me. And what I mean by that is I try to just observe them almost like from the outside in, if that makes sense. It's like I don't have any attachment to it. So it could just be, say, for an example, like I just keep having this thought of an old friend that, did me wrong. And I feel, very hurt, let down, whatever, by this person. This is like fictitious, so this isn't necessarily talking about any one person. But anyway, so let's say, like, hypothetically, that I had this person that treated me in a negative way, or something that I'm still holding on to from that relationship. Even though the relationship's over, I just can't let it go. That would be, a triggering thought. A triggering thought is something that you just continue to think over and over again without any consciousness to it. It's like, bam, it's there, and like, bam, it's there again, and all that kind of stuff. It almost feels like it's out of your control to have it there. So in that case, when I have those kinds of thoughts, I'll be like, okay, I'm just gonna stop giving them an emotion. I'm going to stop giving them my energy. So energy goes where you focus, right? Whatever you're focusing on is where your energy is going. So I'm going to cease to give them any energy. So I'm just going to let them be. So as I have the thoughts coming in, it's literally like it's just passing through my mind, and I'm just kind of observing it, literally, as much as I'm just observing my hand passing in front of my face. This is exactly what I would do with that thought. Is just observe it as it goes through. The thing is what we do is we tend to be like, oh, this thought is coming in again. I wonder why, she's coming back into my life. I wonder what that means. And, next thing you know, we're overthinking everything. We're snowballing it. We now have an emotional attachment to it again. So not only did we have the emotional attachment that, she did me wrong and she hurt me and all this kind of stuff, all of those emotional attachments, we've now put new emotional attachments on top of it, which just like solidifies that in our being even more. The idea of healing is not to solidify anything in your being, but exactly the opposite, to be able to release it and let it go. So what you can do as your being that just, the quiet observer, completely being unattached is, okay, what else can I learn from this? Like, what is this coming up to teach me? What is it that I need to learn from this? What haven't I let go of? And start working through whatever comes up when I ask myself those questions. Is this something that, maybe, even though I was hurt before, I'm not hurt now, because, sometimes, just going through time can, heal us, right? So maybe because time has passed, I no longer feel any animosity towards her. I have no hurt feelings. I don't feel anything towards her either way. So at that point, I'd be like, well, why am I still holding on to this? So at that point, I can let it go, and then once you're able to let things go, you will realize the deeper you go with letting these emotions go and letting things go that just really, don't have an effect on your life anymore, you will start to realize that these things don't come up anymore. Literally, you are coming up, your mind is coming up with these triggers. We call them triggers. They're actually, like I said, a roadmap to your own healing. But our mind comes up with them because it's ready to be healed. Now, that being said, our minds, if your mind's anything like mine, it can have like 30 things. It's like 30 open files at one time. Hello to ADHD brain. There's no way I'm going to even try to heal all of those at once. I owe myself and my emotions, like the full, just my full attention. So I'm literally, at whatever is coming up, I'm going to deal with one thing at a time. All the other thoughts that are triggering me, they're just going to have to take a back seat for now. It's like, nope, I'm busy. I'll get to you. And here's the thing. It's not like they're going to go away on their own. If they would have already, right? So you can push them away to the side. Like, okay, I'm not going to deal with that right now. If the thoughts are, there's like, say, 30 of them open at one time, they're all just like flooding you and you don't know where to start, I would definitely suggest you write them down. Whatever these, suggestive thoughts or these triggering thoughts are for you. If you have more than one or two, I would definitely write them down for a few reasons. A, when you write it down, it allows you to almost be like, okay, I don't have to think about that anymore. And it gives you like a small release of not having to play that through your mind all the time. Another benefit of writing them down is you can like go through your list and start saying, okay, where, what am I emotionally ready to heal? What am I emotionally ready to deal with? So you don't want to, if you're just starting, you don't want to necessarily go off the deep end and heal the biggest thing that's coming through, right? You may want to start with something a little bit more, that you feel more apt to have success with healing, because the truth of it is the smaller things, sometimes the smallest things, and being able to heal them will boost your confidence of like, hey, you know what, I can actually do this. I can actually get to this point where I am recognizing things and I'm changing that narrative and I'm changing the emotions that are tied to it, right? So those are the two reasons why I would definitely suggest that you write things down. Another thing is once you start writing things down, say for an example, if you heal, say people pleasing, or let's say you heal a relationship with your father. You may realize that you've also healed people pleasing, or fear of confrontation, or, other things that are coming up, because rather than healing, say, people pleasing first and then still having to heal the relationship with your father, sometimes it's that ripple effect. If you can heal the root cause, then it ripples out into the patterns, the beliefs, and the other things that have been caused by that trauma. But if you're not ready to like dive in and heal the issue with your father, then don't start with the people pleasing. It's okay. You can start there, So ultimately that is the best way to deal with your own triggers, because you know what? One thing that's with you 100% of your time is your mind. And the last thing you need to have it is working against you and traumatizing you all over again, which essentially is happening when we just let them, like, those thoughts continue to process through our minds. You can do something with it. I encourage you to do something with it. And if you need help, please reach out. I'm not even saying necessarily to me, if this is not something that you feel that you can manage on your own, I can definitely help you with that. But seek counseling, go find a counselor that you resonate with. Spiritual therapy of some sort. Like, I'm a spiritual therapist or a spiritual counselor. So, I mean, people like myself, are more than capable of helping you with those kinds of things. Just, if you, like I said, if you feel like it's too much for you, or if you feel like you can do part of it on your own, but then it gets too heavy and you need to ask for help, definitely reach out for help. Never be ashamed to ask for help with this, because it's not necessarily, it's simple. The step-by-step process is simple, but going through it is not necessarily easy. So when it gets to be too much, be honest with yourself. You're trying to heal yourself, not re-traumatize yourself. Learn to know the difference. All right, that is it for this video. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you back here next time. Until then, take care. Bye for now.